Hi everybody, we're looking at identifying types of equations and determining if they are balanced or not. So let's look at this. In a chemical equation, we have our reactants, we have our yield, and we have our product. And really what this means is this is what I'm starting out with on the left side. The arrow always points to the direction of the product, my end product. And this arrow is actually read as a yield, not as in green, yellow, red, stoplight yield. This is like a farm yield. How much grain do you get out of how much you planted? What's my yield? So in this case, whatever I put in, I have to have exactly the same number of elements over here on the product side. So if I have one tin on this side, I have to have one tin on this side. If I have two sodiums on this side, I have to have two over there. So far, I'm balanced on this. But remember this 2 in front of it? This is my coefficient, and it's the distributive property. This is like saying 2AB. You have 2 A's, you have 2 B's. It's just a shorthand for writing it. We can never, ever, ever change this subscript. So if I have H2O, if I changed it to H2O2, this one is water, this is hydrogen peroxide. And that is a problem. We do not want hydrogen peroxide if we're trying to drink water. So we have to be very careful on what we do for our subscripts. They are not allowed to be changed because you get a completely different product when that happens. So first I have to look and see, is it balanced? We're going to go through that in a minute. The second piece we're going to determine is what type of equation is it. Is it an equation where I have small pieces and I'm making them into bigger chunks? So I have like maybe one atom here and one atom here, I added them together and it became one big chunk stuck together. That would be to make the molecule change larger, and that's called synthesis. To synthesize, to make bigger. In music, synthesis means to multiply our sound. In chemical equation, it's to make our atom chains larger. So synthesis is to make a chain larger. Decomposition is just the opposite. Like decomposing animals, it breaks it down into its parts. Decomposition is you take a big thing stuck together and you break it into smaller parts. Okay? And then we have our handy dandy last one, which is replacement. And that simply rearranges. Like this first one is replacement. See, I've got one atom by itself on my left side, my reactant side. On my right side, I have one atom by itself on my product side. Then I've got however many capitals, that's how many elements there are. So there's 3. Capital N, A, because the A goes with the N, capital O, and capital H. That means there's 3 things stuck together here, 3 types of elements. And on this side, I have Na, Sn, and O, 3 capitals also stuck together. So I didn't make it any larger. I didn't make it any smaller. I simply rearranged. So replacement is the rearranging. Again, not making bigger or smaller. So that second answer is actually replacement. But now let's see if it's balanced. And a balanced equation has to have exactly the same number on the reactant side of each type of atom as I have on the product side. But they can be rearranged in a new order, and that's a chemical reaction. You get a new substance when you're done. But the only thing I can change here is my coefficient, and we'll do that in the next video. But right now we're just determining, we're counting atoms to see if they're balanced. Again, 1, nothing underneath here implies there's 1. This 2 over here, this Na2, means that there's 2 atoms of sodium. So 1 Sn, 1 tin here, 1 Sn here, 1 tin there. So far balanced. 2 times Na, so that means I have 2 Nas. Well, I've got 2 Nas here, and look, 2 times H, I actually have 2 H's, but my oxygen is my problem. 2 times 1 oxygen is 2 oxygens, but on this side, there's no subscript 2 there, and I am not balanced because I don't have exactly the same amount of oxygen atoms as I do on my reactant side, so that's not a balanced equation. 8 aluminum. Okay, I've got 3 times 2, that's 6 aluminum. First of all, do I need to go any farther? I don't have any more ALs on this side to add to it. 8 and 6 are not the same. This is not a balanced equation. So let's see what kind it is. Is it making bigger atom molecule change? Is it smaller, or is it rearrangement? I've got 1 atom by itself, and I've got 1, 2 capitals here. So I've got a 2 and a 1. On this side, I have a capital AL and a capital O, so a capital A and a capital O is 2 stuck together, and Fe, iron by itself. I haven't made it bigger, I haven't made it smaller, I've simply rearranged, so it's replacement. Okay, I've got two stuck together. I've got two stuck together. I have 1, 2, 3 different items all stuck together. There's no add sign. This is a bigger molecule than this one because this has 2 and 2, but this has 3. So that is bigger. It is synthesis. It is a reaction that got a bigger product. Now we need to check and see if it's balanced. So here we go. And we're going to have to do some creative stuff with this oxygen because it's on two sides of the plus sign. So I have to add together. I think you can handle it. I've got 4 P's here. Okay, no other P's. I've got 4 times everything in here. So I'm looking at the P first, phosphorus. 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, my P's are balanced. I've got 10 oxygens here plus 6 times 1 is 6. That's 16 oxygens on my reactant side. That means I have to have 16 oxygens on my product side. So my coefficient is 4, my subscript is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So right now, 10 plus 6 is 16, and 4 times 4 is 16. My oxygens are okay. Okay, maybe we're going to get our first balanced one. We're going to find out in just a second. So I've checked my P's, I've checked my O's. Now I need to check my H's. And I have 6 times 2. That is 12 hydrogens. I have 4 times a subscript of 3. 4 times 3 is 12 oxygens. Hey, hydrogens. That is 12 hydrogens on this side. On my reactant side, 12 hydrogens on my product side. It is, in fact, a balanced equation. It's the first one we've had that worked out that way. Okay, now look here. I've got 2 capitals plus 2 capitals. On this side, I have 3 capitals plus 2 capitals. That means this is synthesis because this one by itself on this side has more than any of these. So I'm going to say that my number 8 is synthesis because it's got a bigger chain. But now let's see if it's balanced. I have 1 P, nothing over here to add. On here I have 3 times 1 is 3 P's. Is 1 and 3 the same thing? Do I need to go any farther? No, that is not a balanced equation. This is where I would really like you to stop, and I'd like you to try and go through. Now the one we haven't seen, we've seen synthesis, right? And we've seen replacement, but we haven't seen a decomposition. You can probably be assured there's probably a decomposition in here somewhere. And let's see if we can find that really quickly. 2 and 1, 2 and 2. That's not decomposition, that's synthesis again, right? We got bigger. But let's look at this one. 1, 2, 3 stuck together. I still have 3 stuck together here, but look, I broke off a chunk of it. So I actually broke it into 2 pieces. That means that is our first decomposition that I've gone through. There might be another one, but it's the first one I've just easily seen. So 12, and if I go over here, we're looking at number 8 to put it in, is decomposition. Now I'd like you to pause the video for a second, and I'd like you to try and go through it and work these by yourself. Then when you're done pausing it, I want you to come back and I'm going to go through the rest of these answers to make sure you have it. If you just copy the answers in, it'll help you on this assignment, but it's not going to help you on the test. So the biggest thing is take advantage of this while I'm actually going through an assignment with you. Try it and come back and check your work. You can always change it if you got it wrong, but you don't want to be learning it on the test. You need to practice here. You can always ask me for help. I'm happy to do that. But let's go through this here. So pause, do 7 through 13, and then come back and check your work. Okay, so how did you do? Let's walk through these and make sure we're understanding it. All right, let's check and see if it's balanced or not. 2 distributing through times 1 is 2 mgs. I've got 2 mgs here, so far balanced. 2 times 1 is 2 oxygens. Over here I have an O sub 2, that means I have 2 oxygens. I have 1 Si by itself, I have 1 Si by itself, so yes, it has balanced. And let's see, I've got 2 capitals and plus 1, and I've got 1 capital, that should be a lowercase g. Hang on, I'll fix that. Okay, now that I fixed my boo-boo, let's check this out. 2 mgs, 2 mgs. 2 oxygens, O sub 2 is 2 oxygens. So far, so good. 1 Si by itself, 1 Si by itself. Yes, that is a balanced equation. Let's look at number 8. I have 1 Ca, no Ca's to add to it. Over here I have 1 Ca, no Ca's over here to add to it. I have 2 chlorines, 2 Cl's. Over here, oh, I've got to look at my coefficient. 2 times Cl is 2 Cls. So far, still so good. On my reactant side, I've got a subscript of 2, so that means I have 2 sodiums, 2 NAs. I don't have a subscript here, but I do have the coefficient to multiply through, so there are 2 NAs. I have 1 carbon. I have 1 carbon. I have 3 oxygens. I have 3 oxygens. There's nothing to multiply. Yes, it's balanced. All right, let's look at number 9. Oh, by the way, that was a decomposition, because let's look at this. I've got 2 stuck together and 3 stuck together, and on this side I just have 2 and 2. There's no more 3, so 1 got smaller. It decomposed. Okay. Number 9. 2 times 6 is 12 carbons. 12 times 1 is 12 carbons. I have 2 times 6 is 12 hydrogens. Well, 2 times 6 is 12 hydrogens. Gotta do some adding on my oxygens. I should have a total of 30. 15 times 2 is 30 oxygens. 12 times 2 is 24 oxygens here, plus 6 times 1 is 6. So 24 plus 6 is 30. Yes, it's balanced. I have 30 oxygens on this side. I have 30 oxygens when I add them together on my product side. It is balanced. It's a synthesis. Is this synthesis? I'm going to double check that. I've got 1 capital, 1 capital, and 1 stuck by itself. I've got 2 and 1. Over here, I've got 2 and 2. So it is synthesis because I have nothing by itself. One of them got bigger. The chain got bigger. We went through this. We talked about the fact that you've got capitals, 3 of them, K, then a chlorine, Cl, and then an oxygen. And over here, I've got, well, I have a plus sign. So it obviously broke into 2. It's a decomposition. And let's see, I've got 4 potassium, 4K. I've got 2K here, plus 3K is 5. Is 5 and 4 the same? No, in fact, I don't even have to go any farther. I already know it's not balanced. So no, this is not balanced. Number 13, 2K. 2 times 1 is 2K. 2Br. Over here, I've got a subscript of 2, so my BRs are both the same. I have 1 chlorine on this side, but on this side, look, I've got 2 times 1. It's 2 chlorines. It is not the same. It is not balanced. Now, let's look. I've got 2 items stuck together plus 1. I have 2 stuck together plus 1. Ooh, that is not decomposition, is it? What is that? That should be rearrangement, right? I've got 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. I didn't get bigger. I didn't get smaller. I simply rearranged. So if you made it to the end of the video and you watched all of this instead of just copying it, I'm now going to know if you watched it all the way, because that answer will be wrong. How sneaky am I? All right, if you need help, please jump on Zoom. Do whatever you need, but make sure you get help. I hope this helped you figure out this. You will have a couple of test questions, so make sure you understand the basics. And tomorrow, you will do a little more practice on synthesis and decomposition.